Hello and welcome to all my netizens, old and new. Thank you for stopping by to check out today's video. Now, this is going to be different from what I usually do. With the next major installment in the Finance of Freddys series, Secret of the Mimic, coming out in a week, I have decided to make a news roundup video going over almost everything that has been shown to us. The reason I say almost is because there might be more teasers that drop when the video is finished. If I make any mistakes or forget to include something, please be sure to let me know in the comments down below. My name is Citri, and I'll be your host today. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Enter the abandoned workshop of Murray's Costume Manor and unravel the mystery left behind by the reclusive inventor Edwin Murray. In Finance of Freddys, Secret of the Mimic, you'll step into a world where every dark corner holds a secret, and every flicker of light hints at an ever-present threat. From what we were shown in the gameplay trailer, we will be playing as a Fazbear technician who's been tasked with collecting some projects left behind by their contractor Edwin Murray, who seem to have gone missing for some reason. The Mimic, a prototype endoskeleton, can adapt to any costume and become any character, including what you fear the most. Armed with only your wits, a few gadgets, and a heavily redacted corporate briefing, you'll attempt to retrieve Fazbear's prized prototype technology while grappling with cryptic clues and a relentless shadow determined to dispatch all unwanted company. The trailer implies that Edwin made the Mimic for Fazbear Entertainment, but from reading the books, we are told a different story. Fair warning, spoilers for the Mimic story. To give you all somewhat of a brief summary of the story, Edwin got married and started a family. Unfortunately, his wife passed away during childbirth, leaving him a single father. As time passed, Edwin began to work for Fazbear Entertainment, moved into his factory that's located near a highway, all while raising his son, David. David was energetic and would often interrupt Edwin while he was working. So, to avoid taking care of his only son, he crafted a robotic playmate for David, who ended up giving it the name the Mimic. Edwin programmed the Mimic to learn from what it sees and copy those around them. Everything seemed right in Edwin's life. David was entertained, he had a friend, and Edwin could finally finish his work in peace. One day, while Edwin was preparing breakfast after a long night of working, David was playing catch with the Mimic. His ball rolled out of the factory and onto the busy highway. Unfortunately, David was struck by a vehicle and passed away. This left Edwin in a depressed state. He felt like an empty husk, knowing that he failed as a father, knowing that his only son had died due to his negligence. Some time passes, and he sees the Mimic mimicking David's actions, like holding its white tiger plushie. Seeing the Mimic do so brought back memories from when David was still alive. Crying tears of sorrow, Edwin then looked up at the Mimic, who was using one of David's codes and miming the motion of having ice cream. When Edwin saw that, something inside him had changed. The depressed man went from mourning the loss of his son to a blind rage of fury, with an uncontrollable need to destroy. Edwin grabbed the nearest object, a heavy, sharp metal bar, and began to beat up the Mimic with it. Lifting with both hands, Edwin would raise the bar and continuously strike the Mimic, pouring out all his agony and despair onto the poor creation, who didn't even know what they did wrong. Afterwards, Edwin's anger turned into regret for what he had done to his creation/son's friend. Overcome with guilt and grief, Edwin left the factory. Months go by, and his contract is broken. Fazbear Entertainment sends a retrieval team to collect their work. While inside the factory, the door slams shut, and the team is locked inside. After some time exploring, it is revealed that the previous retrieval teams, A and B, had all perished at the hands of the Mimic. Slowly, the Mimic starts picking them off one by one, until there is only one member left, who ends up trapping the Mimic in a spring-lock jester costume and shutting it off. Prepare for heart-pounding thrills as you explore the labyrinth of the deserted costume manor, discovering remnants of Edwin's unfinished work and eluding the monster he's created. Experience Finance of Freddys, Secret of the Mimic, and survive the mystery and madness. Finance of Freddys, Secret of the Mimic will be available for PlayStation 5 on June 13th, 2025. Disclaimer, Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for whatever you awaken in the dark. During March 14th, Steelwool Studios updated the Steam game page for Secret of the Mimic. With this update, we were given 6 screenshots that showed off various locations and different costumes in Edwin's costume manor. The first screenshot shown to us seems to be some sort of workshop with another elephant animatronic that was being worked on. On the left, you will see the head of the elephant costume, and on the right, you will see its right arm on the table. Upon brightening up the image, there is no notable differences or any hidden features. Side note, for the sake of the video and visibility, most of the screenshots have been brightened up. This one is quite interesting as it has multiple things to see here. The first and obvious one is the elephant costume that we see near the beginning of the trailer. Most of the community has speculated that this will be part of a chase segment where we have to trap the mimic. On the mimic's left, you will see a hand crank which opens the security gate. Above the mimic is a sign that says main hallway, meaning if you want to proceed, we have to go through the elephant. Again, if you look on the left and above the mimic, you will see two new characters. The first one seems to be some sort of weasel or dog-like costume in its box, and the second one seems to be a mini version of a costume, that being the swinging bee. Now, I'm thinking the bee isn't just a decoration, but some sort of hidden camera in plain sight. The next screenshot seems to be a continuation for the end of the trailer, where a big Music Man like animatronic bursts through the ceiling. The community has decided on the name Maestro Man since he appears to be a more distinguished version of Music Man. Looking closer at Maestro Man, we can see that he has some phonograph-like horns on both sides of his head. His mouth is similar to that of a music box, with the big cylinder and pins, along with the cone to make up his mouth. This seems to be a part of the major chase sequence that will most likely have us, the player, quickly descending a stairwell before Maestro Man cuts us off and catches us. This is another screenshot that seems to be a continuation from the trailer. Jackie slash the Mimic is seen popping out of an air duct in the ceiling, getting ready to attack the player. If we look near the bottom left corner of the screen, we can see a hallway that must loop around and lead to the elevator the player is in. The next screenshot shows us what happens after turning on the generator and stepping into the office. From what we're shown, this appears to be early on in the game, as shown by the alarm clock's time. Something else I've noticed is from looking through the window, you can see the factory's work floor, which must mean that this is an observer's office. This is an interesting one that kind of reminds me of the mediocre melodies. We've got the purple hippo playing the fiddle, which probably inspired the design for Mr. Hippo, and the two frogs with the yellow antenna, which probably gave inspiration for Happy Frog. Lastly, there's a gator animatronic playing the banjo. This one must have been the origin for Monty. And for our last screenshot, this one is a more recent one, along with the short clip that was shown to us during Daco's charity livestream for the Trevor Project, a non-profit organization focused on self-slaughter prevention. Now let's address the elephant, or should I say bear, in the room. As you all may have noticed, there's a huge bear animatronic in the center of the room named Mr. Helpful. Now I'm assuming that this will be important for later on in the game. Maybe it will guide us, or maybe the Mimic will take over Mr. Helpful and come after us. If you look below Mr. Helpful, you will notice there's a console-like control box underneath him. We will be talking about this later on and what the symbols mean. Now, if you look to the left, you will see a doorway with the sign Big Top Showroom, which is themed after Maestro Man, sheet note hair and all. Now, I'm thinking this must be like some sort of big opera-like room with Maestro Man in the center. Customers walk in, take a seat, and listen to the melodies played by Maestro Man. On the right of the screenshot, there is a room with the sign Birthday Showroom. If you look closely, you'll see this room is themed after Jackie. Music box, tube, arm pillars, and all. My guess is that before the Mimic took over, Jackie was reserved for birthday parties and special events. Now I'm wondering if this is where the game starts off, with us entering the main lobby area and finding some tools in the birthday showroom. And that is it for the screenshots. Overall, I think they were pretty interesting. It really sets up the mood for what kind of game Secret of the Mimic is going to be. Aside from that, I love seeing all the costumes. The elephant and hippo costume really help give off an uncanny or creepy feeling to the place. As for the environments, I love how there's enough light to make out what is around you, but not enough to see ahead. Almost makes you scared of what's hiding in the shadows. Now that we are done with the screenshots, let's move on to the next part. I'm sure by now you are all aware of what Mimic Monday is, but just in case you aren't, I'll fill you in. You see, with Secret of Mimic being a few days away, Steelwool has decided to help keep the hype up by sharing small teasers. Some of these are posters of in-game stuff, or some of them are full-on in-universe commercials. Now that you're aware, let's dive right in. For our first teaser, we are shown a poster that reads as follows: "Watch your hands, limbs replaced at employee's expense." Now, when I first saw this, I didn't think much of it since the game takes place in a factory. Like any workplace, I thought this was just some safety poster, reminding workers to stay safe and the possibility of losing a limb isn't slim. But this brought up the speculation that we, the player, might end up losing our arm slash hand. Next up, we have a costume order slip. Murray's Costume Manor. This order form is your receipt. It guarantees that the costumes specified below are being manufactured for you. Present this order form to the front desk 3 months after your initial order date to receive your costumes. And then we have to fill out a whole section, an order date, pickup date, etc. Sadly, there isn't much to work from on this. Next up is an interesting one. Oh my, broken to bits? We'll take care of them. This poster features something interesting, that being the new nurse animatronic named Dolly. Dolly is seen performing maintenance on the elephant animatronic. Something to note is that the elephant's right arm is detached from its body. Aside from that, we also get a better look at Dolly. As we all saw in the trailers, she appears to have tubes that run from her arm all the way to the bag or container on her back. As for what's in this container on her back, we're just gonna have to play the game and find out upon its release. Now, this is another simple poster as it's only a vacation request form. From this, we can tell that Edwin wasn't working alone. This must mean in the Five Nights at Freddy's game universe, he became a successful inventor and was able to hire employees. But that begs the question, what happened to them? This poster comes from our friend Daco during his interview with Evan Lampai, a creative director at Steelwool Studios. Be sure to show them some support. This poster contains some new information gameplay-wise, as we are presented with what looks like the original Faz wrench. Locked out, your data driver is the key. From what we are shown in the trailer, it seems like the data diver will play an important role during our exploration in the costume manor. And the next poster is an interesting one. Where do you belong? Your data driver knows. The next screenshot shows us a total of 6 different symbols, all with their own meaning. From left to right, we are shown the basic, security, and repair level. On the bottom, we are shown creator, admin, and executive level. Now, here's how I think each level will work. Basic. The basic level allows employees to easily access common areas like Big Top Showroom, Birthday Showroom, Gift Shop, and back rooms. Security. This level is pretty self-explanatory, but I assume there are different security offices located around the facility. This allows them to initiate security protocols or access security cameras. Repair. This level is given to certain employees who excel in robotics and maintenance. Creator. This level is given to employees in charge of making costumes or designs for animatronics. As for clearance levels, admin, and executive, I have no idea what these roles could do apart from accessing highly restricted areas. Now we are on our last poster, Swing Bee Honey. Fun guaranteed. Swing like a bee. Not sure what to say about this one other than it confirms that there is a bee animatronic. Now that we are done with posters, it is now time for us to move on to the next part of Mimic Monday, the in-universe commercials. When Security Breach was close to its release, Steelwool Studios would release these short 1-minute episodes called Freddy and Friends on Tour, where after each episode, there would always be something teased at the end. Like for example, the daycare attendant changing from its sun phase to moon phase, or Vanny asking if we were having fun yet. What these both have in common is that as we get more mini episodes, or in this case commercials, they seem to get more disordered and have more glitches in them. As we go over the commercials, you'll notice these little distortions in the video that seem to be hiding something in the background. In this videotape, we are shown what seems to be 2 employees working in an office. Around 16 seconds into the video, the tape starts to fade out and reveals us something in the background. It's hard to make out what it is, but to me it looks like an office cubicle. Next to the man's shoulder, you can see a swivel chair and a work desk in front of it. Upon continuing the video, we can see the coffee maker that has some interesting words for us.
I know what you want better than you do. I am always watching and learning.
This sentence alone hints at one of the Mimic's features, that being the ability to watch and learn. As its voice fades out, so does the tape, revealing something or someone hidden in the background. Thanks to the help of user WhatNot83 on the Five Nights at Freddy's subreddit, we have a clear look at what's hidden behind the static. What you are looking at is the nurse animatronic Dolly, who seems to be sporting one of Chica's idol poses. I gotta say the resemblance is a bit eerie, and it's kind of a callback to the first Five Nights at Freddy's. In this tape, we are greeted by a family that might be a representation of Murray's family. During my first watch, I thought this was a normal commercial that featured nothing interesting, but after doing some digging on the Five Nights at Freddy's subreddit, user AnyWin4995 asks us to listen closely to the tape, saying you could hear another voice. Taking their advice, I decided to listen closely, and around 26 seconds into the tape, you can hear someone saying my leg. And at 32 seconds, there's screaming that's drowned out by the sound of the promoter. At the end, the code rack is promoted with the spiraling background before the tape's footage burns out. In this tape, we're being advertised another one of Edwin's creations, the Cleanovac, that's able to adjust its size to fit and clean almost anywhere. At 27 seconds in, if we pause the video, we can vaguely make out what looks like a birthday cake with 3 candles on it. As we continue to the 59-second mark, we are shown what appears to be a poodle-like animatronic that was seen near the beginning of the trailer. This time, it seems like it's staring into the camera. And for our final tape, we are given something new. Now, what separates this commercial from the rest is that it's not a household appliance. The Mycelium Men are a line of mushroom toys that, according to the promoter, repeat any song they hear or anything you say. Now, from the tape alone, you will notice that both the audio and footage is getting even more distorted. During my first watch, I decided to raise the volume and listen to the audio. Upon doing so, you can hear another voice hidden in the background. At 10 seconds, we faintly hear a voice saying, "I know you're there." Around 14 seconds, the faint voice says, "I see you." And at 25 seconds, the voice says, "What's your name?" And for the rest of the tape, the Mycelium Man repeats the phrase, "You're my only friend."
Pretty groovy.
This tape hints at one of the Mimic's capabilities, that being for the Mimic to copy voices it has previously heard. And that's it for the commercials. Let's move on to the final section of the video. So this theory is a bit of a new one that was recently made by the community. From my understanding and knowledge, we the player will end up losing our arm at one point in the game. Some posters have left us to believe so, with one poster that warns us about our limbs being replaced at our own expense, and another one showing Dolly attending to the elephant animatronic, who happens to be missing an arm. This brings up another question regarding Dolly, the nurse animatronic. This is more of a speculation than a theory. With Dolly appearing to be a first aid animatronic, this begs the question if she will be aiding us in our attempt to catch the Mimic, or if she will be another threat who hinders us. From looking at her design, the most notable features she has are the tubes attached to her arms. As you will see, the tubes extend from her arms all the way back to some sort of tank located on her back. One theory suggests that Dolly would be the one to help us gain a new arm after losing it, but then turns evil after being taken over by the Mimic. Now, my theory is that she'll be a hindrance to us. From looking at her hands, I'm assuming they can shoot some sort of medical spray from the tip of their fingers or from their hands, which ends up affecting the player. Another reason I believe she is or will become an enemy is from the recent tapes. As you can see, Dolly appears to be posed in front of some camera, looking a bit sinister. From the recent tapes/commercials promoting Edwin's inventions, we are briefly shown some scenes and close-ups of locations in animatronics. We are shown Dolly, who seems to be in an idle state, an office cubicle, a table with the birthday cake on it, and a close-up of the poodle costume. With these shots, it is very reminiscent of the original gameplay style of Five Nights at Freddy's, the Sit and Survive playstyle. I'm really hoping that Steel will include something like that. Now, this theory is something I'm sure we have all noticed, but it seems like Fazbear Entertainment took more than just the Mimic. From everything we've seen in Edwin's costume manner, there are a lot of similarities and familiar faces that make you question, were any of the animatronics original, or did they all come from Edwin? You see, we have Maestro Man, who, as you can clearly see, was the first Music Man. We have Helper, or Mr. Helpful for short, who has a striking resemblance to Helpy, so it's safe to say that this is where Helpy came from. Next up, we have the Swamp Quartet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain how these animatronics inspired the mediocre melodies, because it's kinda obvious just by looking at them. Earlier in the video, I had speculated that the swinging bee was another costume or a hidden camera, but now I have reason to believe it's secretly a security camera. You see, while I was going over the Steam pictures in the trailer, I noticed something peculiar. Throughout the trailer, there are multiple swinging bees located around the factory. At 56 seconds into the trailer, there is one located in the upper left area by the Mycelium Man costume. At 1 minute into the video, we can see another one located next to the palm tree cutout. And at 1 minute and 2 seconds, there is another one hidden behind the swan hanging in the ceiling, along with the head from its costume on the shelf next to it. With the swinging bee's odd placement around the factory, it would only make sense that it is used as a hidden camera. But what do you guys think? All the tapes we have gotten from Murray's Costume Manor archive have been showing us just what kind of modifications were made to the Mimic. Stay up latte, observe and learns from what it sees. Murray's magic coat rack, limbs that can extend and warp, kind of like shapeshifting. The Cleanovac, adjustable size, and lastly, Mycelium Man, voice mimication. With all these inventions being added to the Mimic, it's no wonder why Fazbear Entertainment would be after such a well-designed endoskeleton. Now, as most of us know from the books, Edwin became a single father after his wife, Fiona, died during childbirth. But what if this wasn't the case and she survived? You see, I have reasons to believe that this is the case. When the first commercial promoting Edwin's invention, Stay Up Latte, showed up, I assumed the two actors were just actors. But as we got more, I suddenly had an epiphany. What if those actors aren't just actors, but instead they were actually Edwin and his wife, Fiona? Something I noticed was how consistent the designs of the family were. Stay Up Latte featuring a man with glasses, dark brown hair, and wearing a colored bow tie, along with a woman who has blonde hair and a pearl necklace. These details will be important for in the next two commercials. Who do we see? The same two actors from Stay Up Latte, only this time they have a son. In the Mycelium Men commercial, we are showed one of the previous characters being the small child, who seems to have a resemblance to the other two actors. The boy inherits the man's dark brown hair, and lastly, he is seen wearing a pink shirt, just like the lady. Now, I don't want to jump the gun and say that this could be Edwin and his family, but all the connections are clear as day. Even if it is a coincidence, just remember, in the world of FNF, there are no coincidences. And that is it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to let me know by leaving a like. If you have any thoughts or theories of your own, be sure to share them in the comments down below. Also, before I go, I will be making a gameplay series for Secret of the Mimic when it releases. So if you want to be here for that, then why not consider subscribing? Anyways, my name is Citri, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. Goodbye!